Yeah, we probably should have.
I fumbled that. It's okay.
Welcome
fine.
to an all-new episode of the No Rules Podcast. I'm Aaron Hilton, as always, joined by my main man, Malik Smith. Malik, what's happening, man?
Shit, man. I can't call it right now. I'm trying to power through. My back hurt, my neck hurt, got a little cold, but
Called being
I'm
almost
trucking.
40. That's what it's called.
I know.
We're unfortunately, for myself, I'll speak for myself, more than halfway there. We're knocking on 37 over here. So, I mean, this is it's a brutal existence to have to be faced with your own mortality in that way. Like I was helping my daughter use the potty earlier today. Dry pull up all day, by the way. So shout out to Aria on that one. But yeah, so she's using the potty, and I like to crouch down so I'm eye level when we're doing stuff like that, so she can like see the pride in my eyes as she uses the potty. And the last 2 times in a row, I was like, I had to literally. It's funny, we were talking before we recorded about Joel Embiid. I had to do like the Embiid fall backwards instead of standing straight up. I couldn't stand up like, when a basketball coach is really intense and he like might drop down to his knees or like watch a player call a play out from like, I don't know why they think getting low is going to make the play call go a little bit better, whatever. But the stand up afterwards was like, it wasn't happening. Like if I was at a gym doing squats, they would have had to call the ambulance.
Call somebody over like, hey, man.
No. The ambulance.
I need assistance.
No, not somebody. Unless that somebody was an EMT.
Call a professional.
No, I'm gonna need that. Yeah, medical. Call my wife. She's a nurse.
Yeah.
Something. Because I can't
call my emergency contact. It's on my forms that I filled out before I signed up for this.
Don't tell her how this happened. I'll never live it down. Please make up something cool. I might pass out.
Tell her I was squatting way more than Saquon Barkley, and then
exactly.
Crazy
Matter of fact, show her a clip of Saquon Barkley because she probably doesn't know who that is, and then with the context, then give her I like that wrinkle. I'm actually going to use that. It's a good wrinkle, the Saquon Barkley tip, because. But long story short, I was going down. It was bad. I thought it was just one time, and then the second time, I was like, I could feel my knee creaking, and the pain was so sharp. I was like, I'm not even gonna fuck with it. I'm not even gonna try and power through. My daughter starts rubbing my knee, like, "You okay, Daddy?" And I was like, "This is the 7th circle of Dante's Inferno." So,
yeah, man. I mean, I really feel. I've been good too. Like I haven't had any, pains or whatever. And then all of a sudden started getting sick, woke up. I was feeling fine. The next thing I know, I turned my neck the wrong way. And now I can't turn my neck at all day. I'm just, every time I turn, I'm like, try to look up, or try to do this, try to do that. Just, it's tough. Yeah. So, took a couple Tylenol, we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll work itself out over the next 48 hours.
I hope so too. Are you guys getting that bad ice storm too, or that's just us in like the South and Mid-Atlantic?
It's the entire country, I believe.
Is it really? I thought it was just small.
The system. No. The system moved literally across the entire country. I think they said 100 million people will be affected by the time it's over. So you guys got it earlier than we did. But I was checking the weather because I'm just old black man who just checks the weather in different places, and looks like you guys got more rain than snow. So
so the meteorologists are all saying that it's going to be rain throughout the evening, and the temperatures from the cold front that's coming from the East Coast is going to blow through. Right now it's in Carolina. Temperatures are as low as 28 degrees over there. Right now it's like 40 in the low 40s here, so it's not quite freezing. But it's like that's when you say overnight is when that cold rain is going to turn into ice and sleet and things like that. Freezing rain is the way they described it. Now, I don't know if we'll get hail. I doubt we'll get hail, but I do believe that as it gets colder overnight, especially, and with the shitty drainage of these Atlanta streets, that there will be a lot of black ice throughout the roads in the greater Georgia area, greater Atlanta area, I guess.
Now, as somebody who is familiar with the cold and snow, or maybe you've adjusted to not having that.
I'm New England through.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Oh, I wasn't trying to pull your card, Playboy. I wasn't trying to pull your card.
I could feel it coming. But I was like, no.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say, like, do you like when you on the roads? Are you just like, I don't know what y'all doing? Like, come on, man, move out the way. If y'all not gonna drive, like, move out the way. Are you one of those? Are you like, are you kinder? Are you more understanding because you get that like this is new for the folks down there and they're not familiar with that type of weather. Are you understanding or are you just like?
It's twofold. Well, first of all, you've known me since I was 18 years old, so understanding is probably not the highest part of it's not one of the talents that I have. But what I will say is I'm very judgmental and sarcastic with the way that they drive in any type of precipitation here, even just rain, even just the original precipitation, not even snow or sleet or hail, just like
the original
regular standard.
I don't know if that's the original.
Regular standard rain. It might be. I don't know. Maybe it was hail. I don't know.
OG?
What came first. Check it.
Is rain the
OG? But it's funny that I'm talking with a New Yorker about like how aggressive am I on the road, because I feel like that's like in you guys' driving exam. It's like how to properly cuss somebody out when on the road, or how to lean on your horn.
Yeah. Well, move the fuck out.
I never use my horn. Like I don't ever use my horn. I can't remember the last time I actually honked my horn. Even when you like have somebody and the light turns green and it's been green for a while, I'm
just
like,
sit there with them.
1 minute. Because like what I mean, I have like done like, come on, guy, let's get a move on, but I can't really say that I've.
You know what I've been doing now?
I've probably done it once or twice, but I just can't.
Well, listen, me and my horn, we like, fucking Starsky and Hutch, okay? Yeah. Smacking that thing. I'm like, yo, let's go. I don't even press it with my whole hand. I'm at the point now where I'll just hit it with the thumb, just the.
But yeah, you're a veteran now.
Yeah. I'm real good with it. But what I've also been doing, which I kind of hate when people do it to me on the highway, but when you do it on the street, I feel like it's fine. So I just hit him with the double tap on the lights, just whoop, just so,
flash.
Whoa. Because, people they be looking. The thing is, my thing, first of all, don't be on your phone. Like, I'm not a on my phone person in the car, unless I'm like at the stoplight, putting music on or something like that. But I specifically don't have my data on, so I'm not like getting notifications and I'm not like on the internet searching stuff. And I really hate when I look over and I see somebody after they've been doing some dumb stuff, or they're moving slow, or they're like just like not driving. And I look and they're just looking down at their phone like this. And I'm like, you motherfucker.
Yeah. Those exact words too. Cause it's always that. And I'm not even going to pretend to be as good on that as you are, because I am on my phone a lot, but not to the detriment of my driving. I think it is mostly when I'm in like either like a long straightaway, or like I'm in standstill traffic, or if I'm like at a stoplight. I'm not like weaving through traffic, looking down at my fucking text messages or losing bets and shit like that. I'm like, I do have some kind of decorum. I would like to make it home to my child and my wife, but
well, I was gonna say too, you're in the car alone more than I am, because most of the time that I'm in the car, I have my son in the car. So it's like I just So, and even when I'm looking for music, I'm literally like, okay, what Disney like sing song can I play that
Arya has a playlist. I don't even mess around with it anymore. She always starts with one specific song. I just hit that song and let it shuffle. It's like not even worth.
Been doing that for a little bit as well. But yeah, I was like, I tried to make a playlist and like YouTube Music wouldn't let me, because they were like, sorry, you can't make a playlist with kids music. I'm like, well, sorry, when you come up with this is a dumb rule. I don't even understand how this works.
We'll have to flag your account. Do you also want to ask?
Yeah, I'm like, what? It's like, what? It's like, all right, I guess I just have to play the whole Encanto soundtrack. Like, that's stupid, but whatever.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I only want 3 of these songs, guys. Come on, you know what I want. I want to. We don't talk about Bruno.
Let's not reinvent the wheel here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know what we're doing. Let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think it's like to get back to it. I think with the driving on the roads out here, as it is up north, as you well know, being well versed with the inclement weather yourself, being from the Northeast, or relative Northeast, I guess. It's about the other people on the road. So like inclement weather should make you a defensive driver. I'm not concerned with my car. I know I have the proper tires, and I'm not driving on stripped tires and stuff like that. My brakes work. I got my oil change. I keep my car maintenance and everything. That's not like I'm not worried about my car like stalling out or doing anything like that. I'm more concerned with like, hey, I might give an extra left-right glance when I'm leaving a stoplight at an intersection because you just never know. Somebody might think that, they got some all-weather tires on here, so that means I could be Vin Diesel on the streets, Tokyo drift through this fucking stoplight.
Yeah.
They might think in the middle of a snowstorm that yellow doesn't mean slow down. It means speed up so you can catch the light. I'm like, well, in a snowstorm, it's time to just slow down. Like, if you were ever going to be like super square and follow the rules of the road and keep it to the speed limit or below and, all that stuff, like, now is the time to not be a hero, but these people in Atlanta.
Well, dude, you can be driving perfectly fine and some shit happen. Like, I've definitely skid on black ice before.
Yeah. Hydroplane in driving rain does it, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Where your wheels lose contact with the road or lose grip. You know what I mean? Like, you just never know what's going to end up happening. But I'm always, obviously you start sliding, turn with the curvature of your car, try and catch it, those types of things. You're not really worrying necessarily about myself, but especially in inclement weather, I do prefer to be driving alone because I don't want my family in those types of predicaments with me or anything like that. And then I'm just very acutely aware of my surroundings when I'm driving and stuff like that. So like I have to work tomorrow afternoon at the restaurant. So
why?
We'll see.
They're not closed?
That'll be after. You think Red Lobster's open on Christmas? You think they're about to close because of a snowstorm? No. So as far as we know, until they tell us otherwise, they're planning on having the restaurant open. Why? I do not know. Because it's not like people are going to be driving DoorDash and no one's going to be wanting to leave their house to go get Red Lobster. So I'm kind of hoping that we get an email that says that they're going to close. But unfortunately, closing a restaurant and still paying all of your managers in that region their same rate for that day or whatever the case may be probably costs the CEO and owner a lot of money. So they try and avoid that whenever possible. We'll see.
They'll make it back
right
up.
Now I am planning on, I will go through my routine with the intent of working tomorrow from 12 to 8 p.m. But with a small glimmer of hope in the back of my mind that we get an email or that the GM just hits me up and was like, hey, it's not even worth any of you guys risking your lives coming in here for this bull crap. Just stay home and we'll be all right. So we'll see.
Yeah, that would be nice if somebody said that like 12 hours or 24 hours before instead of like waiting to the last minute to be like, hey, it's not worth your life. It's not worth risking your life. It's like, I felt that way like 2 days ago when I heard that it was going to be fucking ice and sleet, but cool. Thanks.
Which is why you learn the corporate speak, because it's like, you feed into all this of, oh, we really care about you guys. We were considering your safety. It was like, oh, is that what you're deliberating on for days? Because we knew that this snowstorm was going to come for at least a week now, and the severity of the storm. Right. And you also know that Atlanta doesn't deal with any type of precipitation well, especially not during the wintertime when that rain can turn into ice or ice rain. So you probably could have just said like, hey, this weekend we're going to close early on Saturday. Everybody get home. We're going to stay closed through Monday afternoon. Maybe we'll open a little later. Like whatever the case, but people far smarter and far wealthier than I am probably have a lot of money riding on that. It probably hurts.
They're not that smart.
Don't give them that credit. They're not that sarcastic smart. Benefit.
They just got money.
No, it doesn't mean just because I say it doesn't mean I believe it. But I try and while I still need the job, I just kind of float through saying stuff because you can't prove that I don't mean it. So, or at worst, you can't tell me what I actually do feel. Yeah, well, I'm not going to argue with you there.
yeah, you're a better man than me because they not smart. Just because you got money don't make you smart, motherfucker.
Oh, that is true. That is 100% true. But I mean, let's dive into the. It might make you dumber.
Because Because I was going to go off, but let me stop before I actually get myself in trouble.
No. Now I want you to go off. Now I got to hear it.
Just saying. There's a lot of idiots with money is all I'm saying. There's a lot of fucking idiots out there who got money.
Do they perchance own Tesla?
Sometimes the dumbest person got the most money. That's the crazy thing. Some of them run the country.
Just a
allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly. Air quotes.
Right. Yeah. Air quotes.
But yeah, so the reason that we did this, and we're sorry, we normally do something before the weekend, like normally on Fridays. But like I said, life be life, and you gonna get this when you get it. So, we apologize about the slightly tardiness, but we felt like we still wanted to get something out. And we're gonna do a little bit different today because the theme of today's podcast is being a man or a woman of your word. As Jay-Z so eloquently said, give your word, keep it. And that's something when I heard it, I've held on to that for a very long time. I think he also
I was trying to figure out when he said that, and I'm like, oh,
I think it was
I know
I
it
think
is.
it was the
It was
I know
on,
it was a rap.
Watch the Throne.
Yeah, Watch the Throne, where he was talking to his unborn child.
His
He was
kid.
talking
Yeah.
Murder to Excellence. Yeah. But yeah, like that's when
No, it's New Day,
we're
not
seeing.
Murder to Excellence.
Was it a New Day? Okay. I knew
It's
it was
called,
one of
the
those
song's
ones
called
on
New Day.
called
The
New
Nina
Day.
Simone
Okay.
sample. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's just so many life lessons that you can learn from pulling a specific part of a Jay-Z lyric. Shout out to New York for that. That's the one you got.
Hell
right.
Yeah.
But
Thanks.
yeah, so like we just have so rampant throughout the sports world right now. We have a lot of kids, athletes, coaches, things like that just they're struggling with keeping their word. And it's becoming a prevalent theme throughout, especially we're seeing it now in college football. I don't know if it's more prevalent now because the transfer window for college football is open or just recently closed, or if it just college football seems to be the place where the transfer portal is the most bastardized. But what we saw with Damon Williams Jr., who has since decided to come back to the University of Washington, we are now currently seeing it with Duke quarterback Darian Mensah. These kids that are signing these deals, these multi-year NIL deals or whatever the case deals or collective deals with these schools, and then immediately going against their word. And Damon Williams, he decided to come back. He signed the deal and then immediately wanted to enter the transfer portal. And Washington was like, wait, what? You signed a deal. So we're going to sue you for this money. Same thing with Mensah. He signed a 2-year deal when he left Tulane to go to Duke. That was going to pay him upwards of $4 million per year. First year was a success. Duke won the ACC. Didn't make the college football playoff because their overall record wasn't good enough, but they did win the ACC, and I believe they won their bowl game as well. So shout out to the Blue Devils on that one. Then after saying that he was going to forego the NFL draft and return to Duke's campus, he most recently, like the day before the portal closed, I think it was, decided he wanted to jump into the transfer portal so that he could go down to South Beach and join Miami, is the rumor for that one. And Duke was like, and are now in the middle of a lawsuit with him to try and get him to honor his agreement to the NIL or potentially, I guess, re-enter his name into the draft. So Malik, I ask you with this on your mind, what do you think the solution is here? And do you think that this is going to go sour more for the players, or is this just going to continue to be a problem for the coaches that they have to deal with and navigate?
I mean, we've talked about this on a number of occasions. I think this is the Pandora's box that they opened up when they decided to pair the NIL and the paying of college students, which I fully support, because these schools are making money, the players should make money. And, when you pair that with the transfer portal, it creates a situation where you basically have players who look at it like, okay, well, I'm basically a free agent after every season. Whether that's true or not, that's how they look at it. And, if all it takes is like a little, friction and we go to court and we settle and then I get to go where I want and still get paid, I think every athlete is probably going to look at that and say like, okay, well, maybe I have enough juice to pull that off. So I'll do whatever I need to do to go to Miami or, Alabama or wherever, pick a school. And, I think they were having a conversation on College Game Day today about, college players, basketball players who were either in the G League or, had signed like two-way deals, but they never played in the NBA going back to college. And I think for me, there's a sense that the NCAA wishes that they still had the same level of control over these players that they did before they started paying them. And that
100%.
That's just out the window. It's like that day's over. Now, yeah, I do feel like, I'm a little torn. I think expecting someone at that age, and we were that age at one point, right? Expecting people who are at the age of 18 to 21 to sign something and fully understand what it is that they're signing is completely ridiculous. And the idea that we have people signing things at that age and then trying to hold them to it, is that's for me personally to more of the problem. I'm not saying that, once you're 18 years old, you're an adult and everything you do it's on you or whatever, but no one fully understands what they're signing. They're not, maybe these people have agents, but their agents are probably telling them, hey, you can get out of this because we'll just go to court and we'll do this and we'll do that and we'll make it so that, we can kind of finagle the situation.
Right. We'll sue and then it'll just be better off for them to give us what we want and,
Exactly. But like I said, this is the Pandora's box that the NCAA opened up. And if they want to change things, then they need to sit down and actually figure out, okay, what are we trying to accomplish here? We clearly, you want the players to get paid because you've facilitated this and you've allowed this to happen. And, that creates a scenario where coaches can, opt out and hell, when the coaches opt out of their contracts, they still get paid, right? They still get their buyout money. They get to move within the conference from Ole Miss to LSU and then troll all the players, right? So like, I think if you really want to control all of this stuff and like, get back to a system where everybody just played for the love of the game, air quotes, then you're going to have to, right? But I think that's what they think that they want. If you really want that to happen, then you have to build in a system that actually facilitates that and that incentivizes players staying at a school. And guess what? If you want to incentivize somebody to stay more, then you got to pay more, right? It's the same thing in pro sports. The way that teams keep players, the way that teams can kind of keep their own free agents is okay, well, we're going to allow your team to offer you more money than the rest of the teams can. And if you want to take less money and go somewhere else, fine, but your team can offer you more money. Like that's one of the incentives. I'm not necessarily saying that like that would fix everything, but you have to, if you want players to stay at certain schools, then you have to incentivize them, because if I'm the kid from Duke, Miami just went to the national championship game and they damn near won it. They came within 6 points to win the national championship. So yeah, I mean, I'm probably looking at that like, damn, if I was on that team, I'm better than Carson Beck. I could take that team over the top and we can add some pieces and we can do this and we can do that. Like, I think these players are not dumb.
But the problem then, Malik, becomes where does it stop? Because I think when we had Jason on, Jason famously did not really agree with the direction that college athletics was going in and wanted to see it return to the amateurism situation where kids could still make NIL money, but the schools specifically paying for the players from that collective or whatever it is was something that he found to be asinine. And we can have our disagreements with that, with whatever. And me and Jason have continued even off air to, have our debates on it here and there. But what I said in that debate was they need a CBA and these players need to be signing contracts, because the legal ramification of signing a contract for 3 or 4 years and then violating that contract is that the punishments now are within the language of the contract. So when you sign your name on that dotted line, it's punitive. And as an adult, because these kids are 18, 19 years old at the very least when they're signing these contracts to join these schools, especially when they're transfer window kids or whatever the case may be, it should behoove them to have to honor those contracts. So if in Darian Mensah's case, he signed over his NIL rights and everything to Duke for those 2 years. That was the incentive to keep him there, because not only are you signing a 2-year contract, the whole NIL that you have goes through us for those 2 years, so that you will either stay with us or you can enter the draft once you become draft eligible, and that's fine. If you're going to then sue to get out of, that's a contract you said you didn't sign it under duress. You were of clear mind and body. It was very clearly stated to be a 2-year contract. As far as I am to understand, it was not a 1 year with an opt-out or anything. You made it clear you were not entering the NFL draft. Your intent was to come back to college. Well, if that's your intent, in your contract, it states for this next upcoming 2026-27 season, you are to be the quarterback or on the roster of the Duke Blue Devils. Whether or not you want to play for us is up to you. If the NCAA wants to grant you a hardship waiver after this year, they can do that. But for these 2 years, we have you under contract. You have to honor that contract. That's the way that goes. That's the way contracts work literally everywhere else. And if the goal for college, for a lot of these premier athletes, is to get you ready for the real world, and more importantly, to get you ready for the professional ranks, it is important for those players to then understand that when you sign a contract, that you have the power all the way up until your name is cited on that dotted line. Once you've decided this is what I wanted, they've given me everything that I want, or enough of what I want to now sign my name on this dotted line, I'm good. I'm going to sign this and get out of here. It matters. You've given your word. Keep that. There's something to be said for a player that doesn't do that.
I want to agree with you, but I think we both know that that's bullshit, because if we're talking about preparing them for the real world, right? If this guy goes to the NFL, he signs a deal with an NFL team, that contract's not guaranteed.
Right, but that's this is a guaranteed contract. So like if you're signing a non-guaranteed, the guaranteed money and the signing bonuses, the language is in there. That's what the Bengals first round rookie was debating. This is guaranteed money.
Sure. But what I'm saying is a lot of NFL contracts are they can get out of it, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And like the word doesn't mean anything. It's like on paper, they could just end up getting out of it, and they don't have to honor the fact that they signed you to a 5-year, $175 million deal because of some weird opt-out clauses or whatever the case, that they could just dead your contract, So like, and I guess it's unfair to compare that to the NCAA because it's a little bit different. But if I'm a player who's playing college football and I see that that's what I'm going into when I get out of college, I'm probably going to try to maximize my value. And again, I'm not necessarily saying that it's right or wrong, but I am saying that the NCAA and the teams in the NCAA that make up the organization that is the NCAA. I mean, I bet you Miami wants this kid to win his case against Duke so that he can go play for them, right? And when it's beneficial to Duke for some other player to be like, I want to leave my school to go to Duke even though I'm locked up, that school is going to be like, well, he wants to come to us. So like, how do we facilitate that? How do we make it happen? So, everybody hates it when it's happening to them, but when they're benefiting from it, they love it. And I think that's part of the reason why we agree on the CBA thing, right? Like there should be a CBA. These things should be more standardized because every team is going to see the benefit of some player opting out of their contract to leave and come play for them. But they're going to hate it when it happens, that some player wants to leave their team and go somewhere else, right? So instead of robbing Peter to pay Paul, we're burning this bridge and burning that bridge and doing this whole thing, just flatten the whole thing out and just standardize it and just say like, okay, we're going to basically be a professional organization that has, opt-outs and, team options and player options and all of that stuff. Because this thing that's happening right now, to me, it's just kind of stupid. And, And then the whole like, oh, well, this guy made a commitment. Like, I do think what's really fascinating about college sports right now is that no one is pretending that it's about like education. They're all just like, you are an asset.
I'm very thankful for that. I am extremely thankful for that.
It is refreshing for them to like not be doing that lie, because it's that was never the case, and it's clearly not the case anymore, right? They're basically just like, I don't care if you, like you said, I don't even care if you play for Duke, but you will not play for that other team because you're an asset to this. And it's like, you can't even, it's not like you can trade these guys, but like, they're just like, you're not going to play for them. That's what's not going to happen. You're not going to play within your conference. Now, I do wonder if he said, I want to go play at Stanford, if they would have been like, oh, well, whatever. Well, actually, there's so much conference realignment. Stanford actually might be. Is Stanford in the ACC? No, they're in the Big
Stanford,
10.
yes.
Or something stupid like that.
They're in the ACC. Stanford and Cal are in the ACC. It's dumb.
I hate college sports.
SMU as well.
I hate college sports.
So we got Texas and California in the Atlantic. Literally, Stanford is on the Pacific. Like, it's okay. Yeah. It's dumb.
USC too, right? Like USC, UCLA. They're all.
No, USC is Big Ten.
Oh, right. I hate it. Yeah. I hate what's happened to.
It's hard to understand. Yeah, sports. Like
to me, that's
literally
worse.
Conferences used to be united by like your region. So like the only argument was like, for a while, Texas A&M was actually in the Big 12 where the other Texas schools were, and then they flipped over to the SEC, and then Missouri did the same thing. They went from the Big 12 to the SEC.
Yeah.
Those were the only real back and forths, but they still regionally made sense. Ohio State and Michigan are in the Big 10 because the Big 10 is like all those Midwestern schools, that North Midwest, Upper Peninsula area, all those schools. CC was there. Atlantic 10 was like the lesser, it was like the Big East little stepbrother, you know what I mean? Like still Northeastern teams, but not quite on the level of the Big East teams. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those New England teams would be in the Atlantic 10. So it's now just become a big money grab in the whole thing, which is another reason why I don't mind that they have to get through this Wild West of a system, and that they have to navigate these unsure waters with these players that are now more entitled and have more autonomy and more say, and the things that the coaches are complaining about. I thought it was funny. Jay Billis brought up a point that none of these coaches and stuff came out and had these big speeches about transfer portal and loyalty and stuff like that when Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss hanging on their trip to the college football playoff. No one had anything to say.
Not
about
a
Lane
one,
Kiffin
not
leaving,
a one.
and even less to say when he was going through the mind games of, after Ole Miss won a couple of games, then being before the Miami game, being like, hey, I need some of my assistants, here now because it's transfer portal time and we got to install offenses and this and that. And it was like, clearly we're in the middle of a championship run and you knew that. And now that you're not a part of it, now you want to try and come poach some of our players and coaches and things like that. And that's just, you're making it about you, which is what makes Lane Kiffin the villain that he's been in the NCAA for so long. And so to that end, I'm not listening to the alligator tears of coaches and the coaching staff. My issue is just with the kid, because I think it sends a bad message when you sign your name on the dotted line. That should mean something. It doesn't matter if it means something to the team or this or that, because once you've signed, you shouldn't sign anything that doesn't support the things that you want. So if I'm in the NFL and I'm signing a non-guaranteed contract, I know that, the number they're going to put out for me if I'm Pat Mahomes is $500 million, but in reality, it's $250, which is still a lot. And, depending on the incentives and things like that, I might be able to bump that, or I might go a little lower than that, whatever the case may be. But the guaranteed money that I know, like when Dak Prescott signed that $75 million guaranteed right when you signed your name on the dotted line with the Cowboys, that moment, he got what he wanted. Now, whether or not down a year or two down the line, if you feel underpaid or you feel like the Cowboys are trying to get out of that contract by limiting you from reaching your incentives or whatever it is, like, you signed that contract. So if you can find a way to fight back on that within the framework of the justice system, then by all means pursue that. That's the point of having language in a contract that you sign. But to just straight up violate that contract and try and lawsuit your way out of it, I think it's a very slippery slope, but it's not one I want to see these players go down. I would like to see them be like, look, I'm not going to sign multiple year contracts. I am a contract worker. That is what I am. I'm a government contractor of college football. You have me for 1 year, and then just like you do all your other kids in the transfer window, if you think there's a quarterback better than me, by all means, Duke, try and find him. But I led the nation, or I led the ACC in touchdown passes this year. We won the ACC this year. I don't recall you guys doing that anytime recently. You didn't even do that with Daniel Jones as your quarterback. So let's see what you do without me. You might want to up that $4 million to $8 million and keep me, because Miami's knocking on your door, and you're gonna have to play Miami next year in league play. So, just give me the power in that way. And if you don't want to sign me to a 1-year deal, you want to risk that I go to some other school that could use my services for 1 year, fine. But I just don't. I don't think it's good for the sport. I don't think it's good for the kid to ever sign something with the intent of violating it as soon as it doesn't meet their liking. Because if he would have underperformed, if he would have like say he would have only thrown 12 touchdowns and 29 interceptions as opposed to the other way around, and he had still signed that 2-year contract. Now, if I see a school try and come up off of that, because I haven't seen an NCAA school try to do that. So until I see a school try and do something like that, where you is UCLA trying to come out of the Nico Iamaleava deal? Because I don't know that to be true. I think he just entered the transfer portal. But I haven't seen a school have a kid who underperformed his NIL try and recoup their money. The only time I've seen them try to recoup their money is when that kid then tries to move on before the terms of their contract are met.
Sure. I do think it's a little unfair to ask the people who are getting the least out of the deal to be the ones to have the most loyalty. But broadly, I do agree with what you're saying. Whereas if all these deals were just 1 year, and I think that would make the transfer portal even more chaos. But again, this is the Pandora's box that they opened up. So, like I said, if you made this point too, you incentivize these guys to sign longer deals, right? Give them more money and say, look, we'll pay you, I don't know, $10 million over 2 years, but you are locked in for 2 years. You get 5 now, you get the other 5 next year, or whatever the case, or we can front load some of it, and however you want to structure it, right? But this is what it is, but it's 2 years, it's locked in, no opt-outs, no nothing. Or, if you guys want to add in opt-outs, whatever. If you want to get creative with it, by all means. But yeah, I think to prevent we're going to go to court over this, because, it's how many court cases are we going to have where it's it becomes messy, and it just, I agree with you that it sets a bad precedent. And it's unnecessary because they're trying to preserve this thing that's clearly does not exist anymore. This is not a amateur sport. This is professional sport. It's just happening on the college level. So let's everybody, we can stop talking about how much fun guys had in college back in 1975 and how they were the big man on campus, and they did it because they cared about college sports and they really loved the boosters, and they just
yeah, ain't nobody trying to hear that shit.
Good old time. Yeah, it's great. That was awesome. Shit. That might as well
be
you,
nerd. I don't care. Right. That's not my experience. That's not
their
we're
experience.
not normal college students.
The experience of these kids. Yeah.
Normal college students don't have study hall. Normal college students don't have mandatory tutoring and study sessions. Normal college students don't have to wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. for physical training and things like that. Maybe the ROTC members do, but not the average college student. They don't have mandatory minimum GPAs that are 2.0 or 2.5 to make sure that they keep, their ability to do the things that they want to do.
If you got a scholarship, you do, yeah.
But yeah, if you have but I'm saying just to be able to do the things that you want to do extracurricular, you just can't. You don't have those things. Normal college students don't miss a week of classes to fly to Miami to, participate in the national championship game. Do those things. That's not a typical college.
Normal college students also aren't getting paid to go to college. So
Period. So like like we can lose these are normal college students, and I 100%. I think that was the most eloquent way I've heard it put. Professional sports happening at the collegiate level. I don't know if somebody said that before you, but this is the first time I'm hearing it.
I'm sure I
like
stole it.
that.
I probably stole it.
But I'm giving
don't
you
give
the
me credit.
Fuck the other people. No, it's too late. I've already given you the credit. So even if you're plagiarizing, no one cares. But I it's like I said, my point is it's not even the loyalty, because fuck Duke. This is not about Duke. This is strictly about Darian Mensah. This is strictly about Damon Williams Jr. This is strictly about that Cal linebacker who transferred to Clemson, was taking classes, and then now all of a sudden is at Ole Miss. You know what I mean? Like, so this
Speaking
is strictly about.
No, I was gonna say I read that Carson Beck. Yo, it's so crazy.
What, he's applying for an 8th year?
Well, but this past year, he said he didn't even go to class, and like he was just partying and having a good time. I was like, he said it was the best year of his life. I was like, yeah, I bet it was. If he wasn't going to class,
right?
You literally were just in Miami playing football. You basically play for the Dolphins, dude.
Right.
Like,
but like that's how you sell them on it, because you probably just have to take like however many little elective courses to make you legitimately eligible to enroll at the school. But he's not looking to get a degree. He doesn't need to get a degree. If he hasn't had one,
well, I'm pretty sure he already has one.
In school.
Yeah,
that's my point. He was at Georgia for 6 years before he even came to me. This was his 7th year in college. So, he's a 23, 24-year-old man. He's already graduated from school and has a degree. He doesn't need to go to class. He's literally, he just made more money this past year playing for Miami than any rookie quarterback made last year playing for their respective team. Cam Ward did not make $8 million to play for the Tennessee Titans, and he was the number 1 pick in last year's draft.
Really? You don't think the rookie scale in the NFL is $8 million? Damn.
I don't know that it is, but if it is, it's not like exorbitantly more than that. Wherever Carson Beck would have got picked, which wouldn't have been number 1 overall, I can guarantee you it ain't close to that. Matter of fact, I do need to look up. I'm gonna look up Cam Ward things while we're talking here. But like I think my main issue, again, it's not with those players and their loyalty. It's just about the players. Like, I don't want you to learn the lesson that you can walk through life just signing your name on a dotted line, and as soon as it doesn't suit you anymore, you can get out of it, because then you're not paying attention to any of the contracts you sign. You sign a contract to get married. You sign a contract to buy a house. You sign a contract to do a lot of different things in life, especially as a professional athlete, if that's what your goal is.
You and your agent have a contract as well, too.
Exactly. And doing things like that, having that entitled approach to life and that laissez-faire, my agent will get me out of this, look at life, is how a lot of these people end up going broke or end up not really offering society anything aside from their 7, 8, 9 years as a peak level athlete. And then once you don't have that anymore, then what do you have? You know what I mean? Like, being a good member of society doesn't require the other side. Like, you are the one signing the contract. If you don't think that Duke is an upstanding organization, that you want to be part of that alumni base, that you don't want to be attached to them, and all they had to offer you was the $4 million, you can get that $4 million in any school. Darian Mensah was a great quarterback at Tulane. But like, he chose Duke. He chose to sign that contract. He didn't have to sign that contract. He could have done anything. And so my lesson to him, if I was in his trust tree or one of his advisors, or if my daughter ever ends up in a situation where, she can sign an NIL contract or a collective agreement to get paid to go to school, knock on wood, I hope so. I'm going to let her know, like, look, we're going to comb through this contract. We're not signing anything that we plan on breaking. And that's what you should have in your mentality. You shouldn't be just looking at dollar signs and be so moved by the dollar signs that you are willing to set a bad precedent for the people that are going to come after you, so that or do things that somebody might be able to sully your name or say that you're not a person who keeps their word or does this or does that. Like, this isn't about them. This isn't about what Duke thinks of me. This is about what I think of myself. And like, what can I say that I'm somebody that's so untrustworthy that if I sign my name on the dotted line, that doesn't mean shit to me. And that to me, like, it doesn't have to be an issue to everybody. And maybe, I'm grandstanding here. I'm sure I am a little bit, but like, there's something wrong inherently to me with putting your name in ink and then violating that agreement, violating those terms, and then to do so almost immediately.
Yeah, I think the
I don't
timing is
love that.
probably yeah, because I was going to say that I do think that there may be some like exceptions where it's like, hey, I've clearly outplayed this deal, right? Just like in actual in real pro sports, it's like, yo, I've outplayed my deal. Like, let's have a renegotiation. We so happened to Scottie Pippen, where it was just like he was getting paid peanuts based on compared to what he was worth, but his deal was so. I mean, they had that man over a barrel. That it's just like, all right, well, when I get injured, like I'm resting up on company time because like I have no respect for management that wants to keep me in this deal that they know is kind of BS, but they know that they can keep me in it because that's just the the nature of the business. So I think that there should be some exceptions, but to your point, yes, it should not be okay. After 1 year, I just decided I don't want this deal anymore, so I'm taking y'all to court. Because like we both said, that just sets a bad precedent, and it only did the spiral only goes downward from there, right? Like it's only going to get worse if you don't kind of put a stop to it and say like, okay, we see what the lowest common denominator is here. So how do we like elevate the system and make the players realize like, hey, actually it's a good thing if you stay in your deal because you get this and this and this and this, right? Because there's plenty of money to go around. Let's be honest. There's plenty of money to go around. So if money if they think money's going to be the incentive, then just offer more money, and I'm not even saying that in the sense that like money is better, but I'm just saying how else are you going to incentivize these guys? Because what they're looking for is money anyway. So, I mean, let's just stop playing the half in, half out game. Let's just be a professional sport.
It's got to be somewhere in the middle. And I hope that they come to that. It does stick in my craw the wrong way when you see it happening for so many of these players, because then it's like what are we even doing here? What's the point of having you guys sign a contract, or what's the point of having a CBA if you're just going to continuously try and find loophole? Like there's literally no point in trying to govern or find a governing body to bring stasis to this chaotic situation if we are already only looking for loopholes in this stuff. And all that's going to happen by all of these players continuously looking for loopholes is you're going to make the contract language that much more strict, that much more constricting, that much worse for the next person. And so like, it might be cool. Yeah, that's great. Darian Mensah was able to play a year at Duke, is $4 million, say he was coming back, and then just immediately say, I got a better offer elsewhere. So even though my name is under contract, I just signed this restraining order or whatever and got up out of my contract, and the school paid basically the equivalent of a posting fee like MLS or like international soccer does, and or the Japanese baseball players sign when they come over to the United States. And I was able to go and play for Miami and compete for a national title, with Mario Cristobal and those boys and everything. It's like, first of all, for you, man, there's no guaranteeing Miami's going to be better than you anyway. All them boys that made Miami great are gone next year. Bane, gone. Mesidor, gone.
I think Miami should be able to recruit some other good guys.
I'm sure they can recruit more and get more people in there, but like, you're capturing lightning in a bottle. That was an unprecedented run. And yes, I do think Darian Mensah just in a vacuum is a better quarterback than Carson Beck. Even before the season started, I would have told you that. But it's a dangerous thing that we're doing here. When we're constantly just looking to get out of something and go to the next thing, and not even knowing if it's really going to be the best thing. It's just they're paying you more money, or they're doing this for you. They're going to scratch my back in this way, so that's what I want to go chasing. I want more for the kid, but what do I know? I don't have millions of dollars at stake, and it's not my name. that's on the line here. One last thing I wanted to briefly discuss with you before. Well, I guess we'll talk. Let's talk NFL players before we get into the darkness of society and stuff.
Jesus.
NFL playoffs tomorrow. We've got our conference weekend matchups. I was pitching a perfect game last Saturday, and then Sunday happened, and I was completely wrong about the Sunday games and how they were. But it's going to be the New England Patriots up against. Huh?
Really? You being wrong? That's crazy.
I know. Honestly, you should alert the presses because I've never been wrong before like this, and
we got to call Guinness World Records
hurts more. But now I'm actually glad I didn't send a text message to you like, man, I wish I could bet on NFL because I was right on it all the way down to the blowout of that Seahawks game, being right on it. And I was almost right about that Bears game. I was so close. And then, Caleb just threw that third interception. Just had to throw the third one. But no, so
what about that touchdown throw though?
Incredible. It made my daughter say the F word because I said it and kids repeat everything you say. So it was a very awkward situation. It wasn't the F word. No, it was shit. I said, oh shit. I said, oh shit. Yeah, that was what it was. And then she's just like, of course, the only thing she globbed onto was not I said black power, look at the black quarterback, blah, 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 blah. I'm right again. All those things. She didn't say any of that.
She was going to say black power?
I mean, I said, the point was I didn't just say, oh shit. I said a bunch of things leading up to that moment.
Yeah.
But
what was the loudest thing that you said?
Oh shit. I don't want to talk about that. I mean,
I'm sure the loudest thing you said was oh shit. Yeah.
Eventually. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't.
Yeah.
Who can be sure of these things, But yeah, like so it was definitely a eventful weekend in the Hilton household last weekend during those games. But tomorrow I will be at work presumptively for both of these games. But we've got the Patriots versus the Broncos. Jarrett Stidham will be the signal caller for the Broncos because somehow Bo Nix broke his ankle on like one of the last couple of plays on that Broncos last game-winning drive in overtime against the Bills. I still don't know exactly what play or how he did it, but interesting how that went down. It was very, very vague how that would happen. And then Seahawks versus the Rams on the NFC side for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Malik, who do you got advancing in each conference?
I say this with like the least amount of enthusiasm that one could say this about anything. Because I'm not super invested in any of these teams or any of these games. But from a fan standpoint, I hope it's Patriots Rams. I actually do think the Patriots and the Rams are the two better teams. I don't see how Denver can win this game without, like, I don't see how you have a backup quarterback come in who hasn't played all season and he's just going to come in the championship game and like win the game for them. There's going to be a point where he's going to have to make a throw that, like, somebody who would need to be in rhythm with his receivers would be able to make. And I'm supposed to believe that after 1 week of practice, he's just going to be able to make that throw just because he's been on the team the whole year. Like, kind of tough compared to Drake May, who is, playing his ass off this year, could win MVP. And then for the Seahawks and the Rams, I mean, they played two really tight games. I just like Stafford more than I like Darnold. So yeah, what I do know is that if it goes the other way, like if I'm double wrong and we get Broncos, Seahawks, I'm probably just going to skip the Super Bowl altogether, except for Bad Bunny. I'll watch Bad Bunny, but that would be like the worst Super Bowl outcome possible.
It will be a bloodbath, much like the last time Broncos played the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, for sure.
The thing is, I don't even really care who wins. It's just I don't want to watch that game. That game seems terrible. Like, I don't want to watch some backup quarterback. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? What? Get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a zero-sum. It's kind of a lose-lose situation, although, I mean, I would just delight in anything that involves the Patriots losing football games. So, like, that part of me still wants them to lose. I will say in my own defense of picking the Houston Texans last week, 4 fucking interceptions. CJ,
Bro.
like, are we to even have an opportunity to win that game lets you know just how much Houston really should have won that game.
He was just throwing them shits up there. Like, he was just throwing them like, they're running directly at me.
Watch it.
Let me throw the ball.
I'm like one of my friends is a Texans fan, so he's like texting the little chat that I'm in with him, and actually Jason's in the chat, and he's sending the messages like, yo, honestly, I think we should just put in Davis Mills. I was like, what is he talking? Is he joking? I thought he was saying it because they were beating the Patriots so bad, and I went in and looked, and it said I think he had like 3 interceptions at halftime, and then 1 after halftime. I can't remember what the exact number, but I was like,
yeah,
I just saw the interception number, and then he also had like some fumbles too. Mm-hmm. And you're looking at the Texans and like, well, they forced a pick, they forced a couple fumbles of their own, recovered them, playing really good defense, and the driving snows. Like, they're doing everything in their power to win this game. And CJ just keep like at every opportune moment is just like, no, guys, I seriously don't want to win. I just like I can't.
We are gonna lose this game.
It's like if I could guarantee one thing in this life, it's that we lose this fucking game.
Who's with me? And they're like, oh, CJ, no, we want to win the game. That's not a motivating
I grew up feeling
speech,
the cheesiest coach. Nah,
he was terrible. He was terrible. The defense, I swear to man, that defense, I like if you squinted hard enough, you would think that they were like the 2000 Ravens. Like, they were that good. Like, they were unbelievable. And like you said, the fact that they were even in the game, it is 100% because their defense was like lights out, and they were so good in that game. Yeah, I don't know what happened to CJ after his rookie year. I guess people just
Monstars got him.
And like
Monstars got
something.
Him. Tails all the time.
That game was so crazy that like somebody in the office was like, they need to investigate this man for gambling, because it looked like he was like throwing the game for real. Like, he was that bad.
I mean, it was brutal to even watch watch the highlights of, because I literally didn't get to see. I didn't even get to see a full drive. Like, I saw a couple of plays here and there when I was bringing stuff out to the bar at work, but like I didn't get to really sit and watch any of the games on that day. So it was kind of a brutal situation there until I got home to watch the Bears game. But yeah, that one hurt my soul, because they would have been my pick to make it to the Super Bowl, especially given now what we know of the Broncos. I did want to briefly, before we make our venture into the next thing, I do want to get your opinion on the way that Josh Allen is being treated in the media versus some other quarterbacks, maybe of different skin color.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the skin color thing.
Yeah,
I do think Josh Allen's a likable guy. It is weird though that like people were saying that he's like the best player on the planet and all this other stuff. Because I'm like, guys, let's maybe calm down a little bit. And I'm a big Mahomes boy, so it's like let's calm the f down. All right, let's calm the f down. Maybe win some Super Bowls before we start talking about best player in the world.
Pill. Right.
Yeah.
Let's make it to a Super Bowl. You don't have to win it yet. Let's make it 2-1.
And to be honest, it's like, Josh, we were all rooting for you. Like, we wanted you in there this year because we wanted something to be excited about. And instead we got freaking Jarrett Stidham, and I mean, we got Matt Stafford, and that would be good. But like, actually, it would be great if the Rams and the Patriots played, because it would be the 2 MVP quarterbacks going head to head, right? So like, that would actually,
yeah,
you could reverse engineer and be like, this is exactly what it should have been, right?
You could award the Super Bowl, you could award the MVP trophy like right before the coin toss and be like, Matt Stafford,
like, just throw it in real quick.
2025, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And now to call the coin toss is the 2025-26 NFL MVP, Matt Stafford or Drake May. Yeah. It's like, oh, what? No,
that would be crazy.
Kind of energizes up the other sideline to be like, this is why it's our guy, not yours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry, but
it's just weird.
To answer Josh Allen point,
Yeah.
I think I don't know what caused people to like jump out the window the way they did, because there was definitely a lot of like nut hugging. Like
a lot.
He
a lot.
It's not like somebody came, like ran in off the stand, out of the stands or whatever, ran onto the field and like punched him in the face and stole the ball, and that's the reason why the Bills lost. Like, people were making it seem like he like had the win ripped out of his hands. Like, they lost the game because he couldn't get them over the hump. And yes, the defense wasn't good enough and all this other stuff, but like every other guy that we consider to be the guy, they go win the game. They just go win the game. Like, it doesn't matter all the other stuff. They just go win the game. And the fact that he didn't do that, it doesn't mean that he can never do it, right? John Elway, that was literally the story of his career before he won a Super Bowl in like his like super late years. But before that, he was literally the guy who would always lose in big games and like lose terribly. And like, I kind of feel like that's Josh Allen. I hope that he turns out to be John Elway at the end of his career, because I think he's played really awesome. But he could be Jim Kelly, who, like, you know, was really good and just
also was a Bills quarterback too.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, those are my thoughts.
He couldn't be Jim Kelly because Jim Kelly made it to 4 Super Bowls.
That's true too.
What I will say about that whole situation, and I didn't necessarily mean to bring race into it. It was just kind of funny that the quarterback most people think about in these situations is Lamar Jackson, who they talk about all the time, or even the fact that CJ Stroud rightfully, and again, fully received criticism because you get a lot of the praise when you win those games.
Well, Josh wasn't
part
that
of the
bad,
quarterback position.
Yeah.
He was the reason that they lost that game. He turned the ball over. He missed Dawson Knox. Was it Dawson Knox or Kincaid? I can't remember which one of the tight ends it was. They both kind of looked the same, but wide open tight end in the middle of the field to win the game. He overthrows him by about 1.5 feet, maybe, for what would have been a walk-off touchdown and the win and a chance to play against your division rival for a trip to the Super Bowl. And you didn't show up. The MVP of the NFL would show up in this. Like, I can't point to a time that off the top of my head that Patrick Mahomes in that specific type of situation has failed his team in that specific sort of a way. Whereas, like, despite whatever happens in turnovers all throughout the game, you had a chance to win it on the last drive. You had the guy open, you missed him, and then you lost the game. It's probably happened. Obviously, Mahomes has played for a long enough time that there have been games
the Super Bowl
that have happened that you just forget. But
yeah, the Super Bowl loss was pretty rough. But you know, like,
yeah, but I don't think they were in a position to win that game and then lost because of him. They got their ass beat by a Tom Brady who was on a mission in a team that.
No. I'm talking about last year against the Eagles last year.
Oh, against the Eagles. Well, that's even worse.
Yeah,
that was even worse. I mean,
that was bad, but yeah, like you said, they were so out of it within the first, like, by halftime, it was just like, okay, well, at least we get to watch Kendrick, because that game was awful.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It was very clear who was going to win that game early on. I will say the Cooper DeJean pick six was not ideal for Patrick Mahomes fans. But yeah, off to, I guess, a little bit more somber news before we go into our dad rules. Yet another innocent has lost their life at the hands of ICE agents, and I believe also in Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. I apologize to the family of this person. I do not know the name immediately off the top of my head. I literally was just watching the clip like maybe an hour, 2 hours before we hopped on here.
His name is Alex Peretti.
Alex
Peretti.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just in a senseless act of violence. I don't even know. Was it like they were protesting the ICE agents that were in that area, like outside of like a diner or something like that, and a scuffle ensued across the street from where it originated, and then it looked like he was outnumbered like 4-1 on ICE agents, and there was like one guy who had a billy club. It was like six. Yeah. So clearly they had the upper hand. There was one guy who was like just outside of the skirmish who like leaned in with his billy club and was like repeatedly beating him over the head with it. And then I still don't know which one of the 6 guys fired the first shot. It was hard to tell from the grainy footage on the different angles, but like you clearly hear a a couple of shots ring out, and then a couple of more shots ring out, and then the small smattering of people kind of dispersed a little bit, and you just hear screams and cries from all the bystanders that witnessed such a savage act at the hands of these federal agents. And I mean, I don't even know what the question is at this point, but it's just kind of like I don't know where we go from here. Like I don't understand this being the world that we're living in right now. Like something like this could happen. Like we just have to pretend that shit is normal.
We don't have to pretend it's normal. I don't think we should pretend it's normal because it's not normal. It is something that I think those of us who remember and lamented the first Trump presidency from 2017 all the way through the pandemic. This is the type of stuff that, I mean, not this specifically, but it was chaos. Like, and I think that's one of the things that confused me about the fact that, one, Trump was even able to run again, but two, that he was able to win was, I was confused that people, their main takeaway from the 4 years that we had of Trump was that the economy was good, because I also don't think that was true. I was like, people were working two jobs to make, working two jobs to make ends meet. And they were like, oh, well, I'm driving Uber, but I also got this job and I'm doing that job. So it's like, yeah, people were making money, but they were working nonstop to make money. So that doesn't mean that the economy is better. And that had nothing to do with him anyway, even if you thought that was better. Two, we had Charlottesville. We had kids in cages. We had a global pandemic, which I don't believe this, but if you want to say that wasn't his fault, he certainly didn't make it better by like literally telling people like, oh, well, we should just go back out there anyway because people need to make more money. And people should inject bleach into themselves because like it was very clear that he had no like desire or care for preserving human life. So when I see stuff like this, it doesn't shock me in the sense that like, how could this be happening in this country? Because it's like, of course this would happen. When George Floyd died, I don't remember him saying anything that was like calming the waters or making it better. They started saying that, oh, well, he deserved it. And, these officers did the right thing.
Drug addict and
blah,
all
blah,
that.
blah. Yeah. Drug addict, all this type of stuff. Right. So, now we have these situations where a mom gets murdered in her car and they say that she's a domestic terrorist and that she was trying to kill people. We have this situation. This man, Alex, was he was a nurse. He worked at the VA. He was a legal gun owner. The reason that he was shot is because they took a gun off of him that he had on him. He was legally allowed to carry a weapon, but he didn't start the altercation. They were the ones who were pushing people. He was trying to help a woman. He was recording them as he was doing it. And they grabbed him and started beating him up. Like you said, 6 people jumped on him, beat him up. They saw he had a gun. They pulled the gun out of his holster and then they shot him on the ground. Which is, it's just straight up murder execution. And then,
and by the way, the woman that was killed, they did rule that, sorry to interrupt, the coroner did rule that one a murder, by the way.
Yeah, we all saw it. That's the thing. Is
for whatever the administration wants to say in defense and self-defense, and professionals who assessed the body, who have no bias this way or that way, ruled it a murder.
Yeah. So look, it's really disappointing to like, this has been said many a time, that we shouldn't be seeing people lose their lives on video. Like this, it's like unnatural to see someone get shot dead in the street on video. But without the video, we don't actually have proof that these people will make up, because their whole thing is that this guy came at them with a gun and he was a domestic terrorist and all the people who are out there protesting are terrorists, and, the left is a bunch of terrorists and all this stuff. Like, just terrorism. There's so much terrorism going on in the world. And that they're cleaning the streets of all these terrorists and all these illegal immigrants and all this other stuff. The man's an American citizen. And he's standing on the street protesting ICE, which is his right to do, and videotaping them, because if not, then they could just do whatever they want and then make up some story. And in this case of this gentleman, unfortunately, right, exactly. They've done that in the past. They try to do it. And I think the irony is even the police in Minnesota are like, these people are unhinged and out of control, and you're making it even harder for us to do our jobs as police, because now everybody's looking at what you guys are doing, and then they're looking at us and they're like, see, you guys are all the same. And the police are like, actually, no, we're not. We're not doing that. Right. It's not us. This is a completely different force.
And that's the issue with those. You're basically I don't know, you're martializing pedestrians who, if you believe what some of the reports are saying, are by and large, a lot of them have connections to racist organizations and not the most stable of backgrounds and things like that. And you're just giving them a license and diplomatic immunity or complete full immunity, whatever it is that Trump mentioned in his press conference about them. It's like they have full immunity, or was it JD Vance that they have full immunity from anything? And it's like you're telling these people who just months ago were civilians, and not even necessarily the kindest of people or the most forgiving or mentally stable of civilians. You're giving them a gun and a license to kill, and you're telling them to patrol the streets. They're doing so with masks on. They're doing so against the will and of the citizens of Minnesota, of the law enforcement of Minnesota in these particular cases, but I'm sure anywhere across the world where you can find ICE agents. At LA, they had the riots against the ICE agents and things like that, and I'm sure other states and cities and provinces
Chicago,
have had the same.
Yeah, North Carolina, and it's like they're in Maine, they're everywhere.
Yeah. There's literally, like, whereas the police might have some positive situations and some interactions with the citizens that they serve, where it is there are positive stories that come out of some police precincts. I haven't heard of anything positive from these ICE agents. I don't know of anything positive that is coming out of having these people patrol the streets and do so with masks and with a hard on for fucking violence and street vengeance is all it looks like. They ain't killed an illegal immigrant criminal yet that I've seen on TV. I've seen
actually they have.
Mom?
No. They have people that have been detained in ICE facilities have been killed, and one person who was killed, that they tried to say that it was a suicide, but witnesses who were there said that the people in the facility, the guards in the facility, were the ones who killed the man. They choked the guy. So even in the facilities, they're killing people and they're lying about it, according to eyewitnesses in the facilities. So, yeah, I mean, they to what you said before is true. Like, these people think they have a license to kill, and they're just kind of just doing whatever they want because they know that the president is just going to pat them on the back and tell them, attaboy.
It goes back to our original theme of the pod, where it's you give your word and you keep it. And at the very least, your expectation when someone, stands in front of a mic, when somebody raises their right hand and takes an oath, is that when you give your word, when you promise as a doctor or whatever to take the Hippocratic oath to do no harm, when you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God, and you're in the court of law, all of those things, when you promise to give your word, and obviously, the naivete of man is to believe that prevents any lying or any falsehoods from happening afterwards. That's not the point of this, but the point is that you're doing damage to society, and you're doing so under the false pretenses that you're here to protect. You're not here to protect. You're here to get an agenda off. You're here because a man had said that, he was going to solve immigration and get these illegal immigrants and these criminals up off the streets. It was like, well, if you're going to have to kill innocent bystanders to do that, and before that we were doing just fine with the illegal immigrant criminals that were roaming the streets that were here, I would argue that I'd rather go back to the old way of doing it. I would much rather have things back the way that they were. You're not helping anything. You're losing the trust of your citizens, and it's painful to have to continue to watch. As a black man, obviously we know about the Tamir Rices, we know about, the George Floyds that we talked about, the Sandra Blands, in a long list of other black men and women that have lost their hands unrightfully, unjustly at the hands of law enforcement in this country. So we are no stranger to this type of violence. I don't need other ethnicities of people to go through that same hurt that our community's gone through to learn those lessons. I know some people might take those things like, see, we're telling you, was like, I don't need you to learn that lesson that way. That's not something that I derive any amount of, I don't get any sense of not relief is the wrong word from it, but it doesn't give me a sense of, here, I told you so, or like, see what we were talking about to do that. I don't need you to do that. I needed you to see and feel our pain and understand that what we are saying that the law, a large majority of the law enforcement has done to people that look like us traditionally throughout history. The law enforcement, even its inception, was for people that look like us, to detain and harass and murder us. It was not to protect and serve. It was to catch slaves. So what you're seeing is an offshoot of that, but I didn't need to see the violence continue. That's not solving anything. That's expanding the violence. I needed to go the opposite direction and to get better. And right now, it doesn't seem like there's any real end in sight. And this is just the first year of Trump's presidency? Was it just year one? I believe
we literally hit year one like 2 days ago. Yeah.
Right. On like the 19th, I think it was year one. That's crazy. That's insane that it's only been like for.
But is it because like this is again, this is what happened the last time. The last time he was the president, right, this type of stuff happened. So like I don't, and I'm not saying that like to be right. I'm just saying like we all lived it. I think people may have for some reason just forgotten it or glazed over it or whatever. But like when people back, maybe 2 years ago were making jokes like, yeah, but he was kind of funny though. It's like, okay, cool. Like I hope you find it amusing when your neighborhood gets taken over by, and I'm not saying this to pile on people, but like, it's not funny when somebody who thinks that they have absolute power and they can like just do whatever they want sends their freaking militarized police force into your neighborhood and they just start shooting people on the ground dead. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Insane.
And then
jumping in front of a vehicle and shooting a woman in the face.
And on top of that, then they say the person who got killed deserved it. We're not even going to investigate the shooting because that person is a domestic terrorist and they deserve what they got. And they're going to try to smear you in on television and everywhere else and say that like you're this terrible person, all these things. Like they couldn't find anything to say about Renee Good. So they were just like, she was a lesbian. So, I mean, she kind of deserved it, right? Like,
right. She was there with her partner.
Her partner. Yeah, she was there with her partner, and they were just agitating.
She's not a mom. She's not even a real women. It's like these. It's the worst of the real dregs of society. The worst. You see the worst in people, and it's almost comical to look back at. Just a little over a decade ago, at some of the people who are now in Trump's cabinet or specifically his vice president and how they used to speak about this man. And now all of a sudden that he's given them a station or an office or whatever it is, like how quickly those tables turn and that rhetoric changes. And now he's our president and he, a great leader and a great person. Like we have clips of
why that is
calling him like everything short of a fucking moron. And now he's his vice president. He's defending this ridiculous power surge that he's going through, where American citizens, the people that they are sworn to protect and the people whose interests he was sworn to protect as the president of these United States, and have no evidence of that happening. All we have evidence of is the people that he is putting like the guns in the hands of, like those military, like you said, the militarized force that he is giving to these people, and the misuse of it on, for all of us to see on social media in HD. Like it's absolutely fucking disgusting. The shit that we've had to witness in this last year. Like I just at this point, like if we don't wake up soon, it's not going to get better. It's not going to get worse before it gets better. It won't get better. And this is why I was so harsh after the election and the things that I said about the former friends of mine that I've had that voted for Trump, especially the second time around after we already knew better, or you would think that we knew better. Like, this is it. This is the shit that we were talking about. And even if it's not directly because of him, which most of it is directly because of him, but even if you're going to argue that it's not directly because of him, those things did not happen under anybody else's stewardship and are in direct opposition to what he said he was going to do, the things that you said that you wanted. I don't need you to fucking Andrew Schultz it and be like, this is not what I voted for. Yes, the fuck it is. This is exactly what you voted for. This is exactly what your friends tried to warn you, girl. I'm assuming you have friends on the other side of those picket lines. It's exactly what the people around you tried to warn you against. It's not saying, hey, we can't vote for a Republican. You want to vote for a Republican, go ahead. Who you vote for matters. This is not going across party lines. This is not, hey, the white family that lives down the street, they've been voting Republican since 1990, so they're going to continue to vote. Like, no, you have to see when there's a fox in the hen house, when there is someone that is clearly unfit to lead this country, that we've already gotten 4 years of him at the helm and seeing the damage that can be done in those 4 years, and you're letting him do it again. I don't know what else you need to see.
Can't say it any better than that, man. Rest in peace to the two people that have been killed. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It made me think of the scene in Boys in the Hood where Doughboy is talking to Trey, and he's like, shit, somebody might smoke me tomorrow. And I was just like, yo, like, that's literally, like, you really honestly don't know. Like, that dude woke up this morning and was thinking, like, my day is going to go like this and it's going to happen like that, whatever. Renee Good, she dropped her kid off at school, which obviously I think for you and I, that resonates as two parents who have to drop their kids off at school. And you think, like, an hour later, you're getting shot in your car. Like, it just, like, that, these are, and again, as Black people, we obviously have had to consider these things even more because we know that Black people and police, there's just a different relationship. But I think the way that it's happened, where, like, it wasn't even like a conversation, it was just straight up like, you're just getting murdered. And, like, that's just what's going to happen. And then not on top of that, we're not even going to, like, be quiet about it and try to, like, figure out, okay, how can we, like, they had to spin immediately. They had that spin immediately. Like, we're just going to call you a domestic terrorist. We're going to say that you deserved it. And that's it. And it's like, it's basically the only thing that you can take from that is that they want to go out and kill as many people as they can. That's the way I'm looking at it. It's like, they're looking for people to kill.
There's no one stepping across those picket lines for them, or across the we'll call it the company line for them.
Who's
in that Republican Party to stand up and say, yeah, who in the cabinet can stand up and say, like, hey, I know I ran with this man. I know that I've said these and there's things about him, but what JD Rand said about these people being basically a lawless organization that has to answer to nobody, I think that is wrong. I think that it is extremely dangerous. What does Fox News have to say about those types of things? But, like, for them to just completely be a shill for this president and the rhetoric and the hate that he spreads around, pulling where was it, in Philadelphia, that they pulled the portraits of the slaves from like a local park or something like that. I'd seen like a brief post. Like it's getting to the point where like you are literally trying to erase the history of this country, and the people in it, and anybody that steps outside of line, like you're just going to call them a domestic terrorist. You're going to let the news cycle spin for 24 to 48 hours, and then you're going to kill somebody else so that they forget about the last person you killed. And hopefully, if you go far enough down the line, the people will be either desensitized enough to it to be like, hey, it's just another person getting shot. I guess if I see ICE, I'm not going to even step in the way. Because what's going to happen is like, what are they going to dig up about me to try and say about me? This is a terrible person. This guy cheated on his math test. He's clearly a cheater. He's a bad person. This guy didn't, wish his friend a happy birthday. His friend of 10 years. Like, what are they going to say about me, if I'm the guy that gets shot in the face for trying to help somebody else who's clearly being harassed and have their rights as American citizens infringed upon? That stands to all of us. That is all of our duty, to make sure that we, as citizens of this nation, protect our own rights by standing up for the rights of the other people who are citizens of this nation to do the things that they want to do within reason.
And non-citizens, by the way. Like, just because you're not a
anybody
citizen,
that's
you
here,
don't have a right to be here.
We are a country of immigrants. That's what we are. Half the people here that are sitting in those seats, family members came over here on a fucking boat through Ellis Island. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a situation where you're here to stand in judgment of anybody else that is walking this green earth, and to sit there and to care so little about a human life, any human life, that you could see it be taken, and in the immediacy, instead of trying to find compassion for someone whose life is lost, you're looking for a way to spin it so that no one else cares, so that you can rationalize this person losing their life. You don't have to agree with that person's politics. You don't have to agree with that person's lifestyle. You don't have to agree with that person's taste in food, taste in partners, taste in favorite color. But to look at someone losing a life and to care so little about the life that they lived and the life that they're leaving, that you could basically spit on their grave in order to spin this gross injustice into any amount of damage control for you and your military SS organization. Like, I think that just speaks to the demonic mindset in that Oval Office and everybody within it. There are no good people in that Oval Office. Not one. Not JD Vance. Not anybody that is in there working for President Trump can at this point in time consider themselves a good person at their core. You just can't.
Agree. I can't say nothing else about it. You nailed it.
Thank you for knowing the person's name, because I'm just bad with names in general. So I'm really glad that you knew the gentleman's name, because that, it deserved to be said. So
it it's fast. It was obviously a whole bunch of craziness going on today. So it's like developing story, but his parents, I believe, were the ones who released his name to the press, and yeah, man, rest in peace to him. It's really, really sad what happened to him. And by all accounts, he seems like he was, a good person. The guy was a registered nurse, worked at the VA.
At the VA, helping combat veterans.
Trying to make people's lives better. And it's like, that's the person that you guys, choose to try to turn into a criminal. But, we've seen it before. So
why would today be any different? On that somber note, we go into the last segment of the podcast. Our dad rules. I guess I'll start this week with the dad rules. It's not necessarily a rule, and it's probably something that I've said before, but there is no substitute for time spent. There just is not. It's not money. It's not, at least I was there at every game, and I did this and did that. Really, no, like, for the time spent just doing nothing, not having it have to be a big event. It could just be a Tuesday. and you're there, and you're home. If there's anything that being able to have this impromptu day off that I needed inclement weather for, 'cause I was actually supposed to work an event, a high school basketball event today, and it got canceled days ago, by the way, when they found out about the storm. When they found out about the severity of the storm, they canceled it. Hint, hint, Red Lobster. But, you know, that's why I ended up with the day off, and it's just been incredible getting to spend the entire day, with my daughter and, like, little pieces of, my heartbreak. I was going outside to kinda, put some kitty litter on the porch and on the pavement behind my car in case I have to leave tomorrow with the icy roads. I wanted to have some traction and stuff. I'm putting my coat and my shoes on, but I still have my pajama pants on. Like, I'm wearing my pajamas now. My pajama pants on, and she's like, "Oh, what? You going to work?" And it's like, innocently said, and I don't think that she meant anything, like, negative or anything by it, but it's
Yeah.
like, when you see that and she sees you're constantly putting on your clothes and your shoes and you're out the door going to work, and it's like, yeah, so that we can have a roof over our head and so that our lights can, turn on and off and all those things that we can have, like, that's great, but there's no substitute for a day like today where you can just
Mhm.
lay with your kid and be proud that she had one pull-up on for the entire day and that she didn't eat all of her food, but she did a better job eating her food than she has in the past. We're still working on that. Um, but like little things. So just for you parents out there, and especially you single parents that might feel like you don't have the option. As a child of a single mother, I can tell you that there is absolutely no replacement for the time that you spend with your kids. So if you do find yourself um, juggling between the decision of should I take that extra shift? Should I do this and that? Obviously, every situation and scenario is different. You have to make sure that you um, do things to keep the status quo of your household.
Mhm.
But any opportunity that you have to spend time with your kids is an important opportunity, and it's an important time for you and for the kid.
100%. Couldn't have I yeah. And every time you do it, you feel it. Like like you said, you spend the whole day with the kid, you feel it even more, where it's just like, "Man, I should just do this all the time." I mean, not all the time, because then, like, after a while, you just be like,
They would drive you nuts. Yeah, they drive you nuts.
yeah. But
I need some
yeah,
room to miss you,
it
son.
is yeah, exactly, exactly. But it is a nice revelation when it does come, and it's just like, "Damn, like, I kinda bang with y'all a little bit. Kinda like
Yeah,
y'all."
yeah, it's nice.
I like my kids. Yeah,
You know what I mean? Stayed inside,
yeah.
wore pajamas all day, took a shower, got into a new pair of pajamas, and I had a great day. It's the best day I had all week, and I was
That's the
home
way to
all
do it.
day. You know what I mean? So, just goes to show, that you don't need a whole lot in life. You just need good people around you who love you and who you love, to be able to enjoy the best parts of life. And my hope is that everybody gets an opportunity to share in that if that's the life that you want to live. If you're thinking about having kids or you're on your way to being a new dad or a new mom, things like that, those are things
Mhm.
that you should definitely consider.
Yeah, I agree,
What about for
I
yourself,
agree.
bro? You got anything for you?
Imma keep it short and sweet. The sooner you realize that your kids are in charge, the better off you will be.
Let it go. Just let it go.
That's it. That's
You ain't
it.
the boss.
They're they're in charge. They running everything. They don't even know it, but, yeah, just
My
yeah,
daughter
had to
literally
have
had me holding she has, like, her version of, like, a Stanley Cup now, which is
Mhm,
its own issue for me, but, um, she literally had me because it's the only way she'll drink water. She will not drink just water from, like, a cup or one of her sippy cups or anything like that, but she would always drink it out of her mom's Stanley Cup, so her mom was like, "Well, I'm gonna get you your own, like, little cup so that we can stop just giving you watered down juice and you can actually just hydrate with water because it's important that you can drink something other than juice in your life." So she literally has me laying on the couch holding her cup so that she could sip the water. This is a child that can walk, talk,
Yeah,
fully potty trained, everything. So
yeah,
she has full motor skills to hold a cup.
yeah.
And it's like, "No, daddy, I want you to hold it." And she like literally sat there and just like, what's the the picture of the light skinned dude who was drinking at the whites only fountain. That's the face I would imagine that shit. That
just
exact
like
face.
slight mischievous. Yeah.
Yeah, the Magnum, Derek Zoolander face.
Yeah. Well, and you did it, right? Because you know who the boss is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a good bitch. I know exactly. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know. I can fight it all I want to and pretend I'm the boss, and that I make the rules here and all
you
that
just
stuff,
accept it. You just reduce your stress level. So I realize it's just like I'm over here yelling and like doing. It's just like let me just
for what? Coleman just looking at you
just let him do it.
I love you, Daddy. You're like, okay.
He's got so much energy. That's the thing. He's just so energetic. He just be running around. And like at a certain point, I'm just like, I can't.
Does he make you chase him? Is it like, you're not going to catch me? Like,
no. He's not doing that. It's just, we don't have that much space anyway. So it's like, he's running in circles in the same place. But like, I'm just saying that just like, I just don't have the energy to say something 10 times. Because he's not listening.
And he's going to be like, okay. And he's going to listen for the moment and then just immediately ignore it and go back to doing whatever.
That would actually be nice. It would be nice if he acknowledged me the first time and I didn't have to say it 3 times.
Oh, he did that. No,
but, we're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah.
Working on it. Working on it.
It's like you only listen when I raise my voice, and so it's your fault that I'm screaming. Like, now look at me now. Now I'm like blaming him. But it's like, because you sound like one of those crazy parents. It's like, it's your fault I'm doing this. You made me do this.
You did this.
But yeah. Did it to yourself.
You did this to yourself.
Yeah. Shout out to the kids. They're the real bosses. Baby boss.
Right.
Haven't seen it.
Baby boss? Boss baby?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I think is what you're looking for.
There we go. See? Well, yeah, I don't.
It's never been more clear than 30 seconds ago when you called the baby boss. So.
I was halfway, right?
Sort of. Yeah. You just flip them. All we gotta do is just flip them. Good movie, actually. Very good movie. I enjoyed it. But yeah, man, that's what we got for you today. Fuck the Patriots. I just wanted to say that before we hop off here. I just everyone knows that they're gonna win. I mean, it's the backup fucking quarter. Like, if they lose to Jarrett Stidham, I mean, I will be delighted, but I will also be more confused than I am right now. So,
it's two sides of the ball.
We'll see how that goes. There are two sides of the ball, and I'm sure that Denver will have a great game plan to minimize the effect of not having QB1 out there for them. But
yeah, also all year everybody was saying how Bo Nix wasn't that good and his defense was propping him up. So,
yeah, but the other end of not being that good is that if you're better than the backup and you're not that good, what does that say about your backup? Who has one career win? So it's not that this means that Bo Nix is good, which I do think he's better than people, myself included, have believed about him. But he's better than Jarrett Stidham. Like, that's not.
No,
I don't think that's a wild thing to say. Like, this isn't a situation where like Wentz went down and then Nick Foles came in and killed it. This is a situation where it's like, no, QB1 is down and like we got to find a way to win.
Nick Foles
is serviceable. He's a good athlete, but he's not as good as Bo Nix.
Well, look, if they win, I will give him all the credit in the world. Unless he throws like 4 picks and the defense does it all. But
it will literally be his second career win in the NFL. So
yeah, what a time
as a starting.
What a time to get it. Yeah,
there is no better time than the present. I hope he does. It'll add fuel to my jokes for Patriots fans because I don't care that the Raiders have the #1 overall pick and that we suck. If you guys lose to Jarrett Stidham, you might as well be in the same boat with me. And I don't care if that made sense because it doesn't.
It didn't.
It's my story. I'm sticking to it. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. You got Fernando Mania coming
every other day. I'm kind of in on it, out on it, in on it, out on it. At this point, I'm just reserved to whoever.
I think he's gonna be good.
They better be good. Whoever we get, they better be good. I'm more focused on, like, I will not be excited or able to engage in any kind of coherent draft thought until the Raiders make a decision at head coach. And I pray that decision is Brian Flores. I really do. I think we need a no bullshit defensive head coach who is going to bring discipline, who is going to bring an attitude to this team. And then find you a wonderkind, smart, offensive coordinator guy that, you know, in 2 or 3 years, teams are gonna be wanting to um, pluck from your coaching staff to come be their next head coach. Like, that's the Raiders have never had one of those guys, so I would like to, you know, eventually be the team that has one of those guys. So, we'll see.
Your mouth to God's ears.
I'm saying, but as always, man, we appreciate everybody for rocking with us here on the No Rules podcast. We appreciate your patience waiting the extra couple of days for the episode. We try to give it to you guys as often as we can, as often as we can do. But we love sitting here and chopping it up. And we love sharing those conversations with you. So we're going to continue to do so. Thank y'all. It's been another great episode of the No Rules podcast. Peace.